Then, one night, he left his radio car to pee in an all-night diner, heard a commotion, looked down an alleyway, and just like that, third-grade detective. The gold shield handed to him just 3 weeks later by the mayor himself. If you've got to fall ass backwards into an arrest, fall into one where the lovely college roommate of the young daughter of the mayor of New York City is about to get raped by a nocturnal predator. Career-wise, it doesn't get any better than that. McQueen was smiling at the memory when Rizzo dropped heavily into the passenger seat and slammed the door. "Damn it," Rizzo said, shifting his large body in the seat. "Can they put some fucking springs in these seats already?" He fished a container of coffee from the bag and passed it to McQueen. They sat in silence as the B train suddenly roared by on the elevated tracks above this length of 86th Street. McQueen watched the sparks fly from the third rail contacts and then sparkle and twirl in the rainy night air before flickering and dying away. Through the parallel slots of the overhead tracks, he watched as the twin red taillights of the last car vanished into the distance. The noise of the steel-on-steel wheels and 1,000 rattling steel parts and I-beams reverberated in the train's wake. It made the deserted, rain-washed streets seem even more dismal. McQueen suddenly found himself missing Manhattan. The grocery had been the scene of a robbery the week before, and Rizzo needed to ask the nightman a few questions. McQueen wasn't quite sure if it was the coffee or the questions which had come as an afterthought. Although he'd known Rizzo only 2 days, he suspected the older man to be somewhat less than an enthusiastic investigator. "Let's head on back to the house," Rizzo said, referring to the 62nd Precinct station house, as he sipped his coffee and fished in his outer coat pocket for his Chesterfields. "I'll write up this interview and show you where to file it." McQueen eased the car away from the curb. Rizzo insisted he drive to get the lay of the neighborhood. McQueen felt disoriented and foolish. He wasn't even sure which way to the precinct. Rizzo seemed to sense McQueen's discomfort. "Make a U-turn," he said, lighting the Chesterfield. "Head back up 86th and make a left on 17th Avenue. He drew on the cigarette and looked sideways at McQueen. He smiled before he spoke. "What's the matter, kid? Missing the bright lights across the river already?" McQueen shrugged. "I guess. I just need time, that's all." He drove slowly through the light rain. Once off 86th Street's commercial strip, they entered a residential area comprised of detached and semi-detached older brick homes. Mostly 2 stories, the occasional 3-story, some with small, neat gardens or lawns in front. Many had ornate, well-kept statues, some illuminated by floodlamps, of the Virgin Mary, or St. Anthony or Joseph. McQueen scanned the homes as he drove. The occasional window shone dimly with nightlights glowing from within. They appeared peaceful and warm, and he imagined the families inside, tucked into their beds, alarm clocks set and ready for the coming workday. Everyone's safe, everything secure. That's how it always seemed. But 6 years had taught him what was more likely going on in some of those houses. The drunken husbands coming home and beating their wives, the junkie sons and daughters, the sickly, lonely old, the forsaken parent found dead in an apartment after the stench of decomposition had reached a neighbor and someone had dialed 911. The memories of an ex-patrol officer. As the radio crackled to life on the seat beside him, he listened with half an ear and wondered what his memories as an ex-detective would someday be. 62 Unit 17, see the uniformed CI, Hospital ER, assault victim female, copy 17. Rizzo keyed the radio. "Copy, dispatch," he said. "All right, Mike, that call is ours. Straight up this way, turn left on Bay 8th Street to the Belt Parkway. Go east a few exits and get off at Ocean Parkway. Coney Island Hospital's a block up from the Belt. Looks like it's going to be a long night." When they entered the hospital, it took some minutes to sort through the half-dozen patrol officers milling around the emergency room. McQueen found the right cop, a tall, skinny kid of about 23. He glanced down at the man's name tag. "How you doing, Marino? I'm McQueen, Mike McQueen. Me and Rizzo are catching tonight. What do you got?" The man pulled a thick leather note binder from his rear pocket. He flipped through and found his entry, turned it to face McQueen, and held out a big pen. "Can you scratch it for me, detective? No sergeant here yet." McQueen took the book and pen and wrote the date.